Hey, and welcome back to another video. So this is another tech recap video that I do usually on my channel. This is actually the second video. The first video I did in March of 2020, and this is the July 2021. I do this to just recap all the devices, go over all the devices I did in the past few months, and these are the ones from March to July, and it's already the end of July. It's Wednesday the 29th. So I thought I'll do a video. So March to July, the original video, the first video I did can be found here. I'll put a card up there with the thumbnail, and you can check it out. It'll also be linked down in the description below. That was all the devices before March of 2020, and this is March to July. All right, so let's jump in. But before that, don't forget to hit that like button and check out my channel. And if you like what you see, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Also, turn on that bell notification button to get notified whenever I upload a new video. I'm on Discord and Instagram as well, so you can find me on those using the links down in the description below. All right, let's jump right in. So I'll go in the zigzag pattern from left to right and right to left like that. So let's start with Nokia. So what we have here first are two Nokia Lumia 800s, the first ever Nokia Windows phone. These weren't officially available in the US, so I was really surprised that I got two of them. This one doesn't work, well, it vibrates, but it doesn't turn on. And I've never done a full video on this, but I featured it in my, in other videos. So you may have already seen it. This one is that Nokia Lumia 800 that perfectly works that I got for like, well, $15. I can't remember. I did I think one video on this. Really nice phones, really well built. This one's in its case. It came with a case. Really surprised that I found two of them in the US. Nokia's first ever Windows phone. So let's leave that to a side. Then we have the Nokia Lumia 900. Funny story, I thought this was a Nokia Lumia 920 like this one. And the seller also had listed it as a 920. So I thought it was a 920 because they look pretty similar. And I bought it while I was half asleep. But it turned out to be a 900. But instead of returning it, I decided to keep it because I always wanted a 900 anyway. Really well built phone. This was the successor to the 800 for the US market because this was released in the US, as you can see, AT&T. Really good phone. I did a couple of videos on this as well. You can find those on the channel as usual. Then let's get back to that phone. Nokia Lumia 920, a phone of many firsts. The first phone with QI certified wireless charging. The first phone with optical image stabilization. I think the first capacitive touchscreen phone to be able to be used with a fingernail, but I'm not sure about that. Oh, this one's turned on. I better turn this one off because it's not supposed to be on. But yeah, so this is a phone of many firsts. It had QI certified wireless charging and all that goodies, really good camera, even by today's standards, really well built, solid phone overall. I mean, if this thing was not outdated in terms of software, this thing still could be used today. The only downside is the App Store doesn't work anymore, the Windows App Store. But overall, a really good phone, really good part of my collection. Really like this phone. Leave that to the side. Let's go to Nokia's non-Windows phones. We have a Nokia Bell OS phone here, so much older, 2009, I think. Steel body, really well built, Nokia C6. So these were higher end phones, and this is the lower model of the higher end, if that makes any sense. This thing boots up when it's plugged to the charger, but it keeps boot looping with a loading screen like thing, but it does not go beyond that. I will do a video once I figure out how to fix this thing, but it wouldn't connect to a computer or anything. Really tiny phone, but well built, premium Nokia phone. Oh, it's a C601, I'm sorry. The C6 was a slider phone, right? Yeah, the C6 was a slider phone. This is the C601. Really good phone, really well built. Always wanted one of these as a kid, but never got one. So now I do have it. Dual LED flash, 8 megapixel camera. Nokia's really good cameras from back in the day. Let's leave that to a side. Nokia 8.1 runs Android 10, Android 1 program. Perfectly working, I think, but I just have to get a display for it. Did a video on this. nothing much to see. I might end up giving this to someone a family member who needs it whenever I fix it, because this is a perfectly usable phone even today. It runs Android 10 thanks to the Android One program. Got it for super cheap, and if it turns out to actually work without a passcode or anything, that's a good deal. But I'll do a video on that later. So now let's move on to LG. Here we have the LG Nexus 4. Did a video on this as well. This phone had a bad repair job done it. Someone had swapped a knockoff battery which wasn't fitting properly, and I put it back in its place and stuck it down. But sadly, the digitizer doesn't work. The LCD and everything works, goes into the setup screen, but the digitizer, well, the bottom portion doesn't work. The top portion of this crack, as you can see, there's a crack. The top portion works, the bottom portion doesn't work. I'll do a digitizer only repair on this in the future, so stay tuned for that. Gotta change the back as well. Let me leave that over there. LG KE850 Prada, the world's first capacitive touchscreen phone, the phone with the first capacitive touchscreen, so meaning the soft touch touchscreen, not the resistive type. This phone has a really good story to it. I brought it all the way from Greece, and a couple of you guys who are on my Discord server, you guys know I've been waiting for this phone. I waited for this phone for a month, and then eventually I did a video on this thing. Got it for like about $30 from Greece, and I was really nervous because I thought they'll tax me in the customs, but they didn't. I just had to sign it and take it. This phone was released around the same time as the original iPhone, well, before the original iPhone. And many people think the original iPhone was the first phone with a capacitive touchscreen, but no, this is the LG KE850 is the phone with the world's first capacitive touchscreen. This was marketed as a fashion accessory, but compared to an original iPhone, where is that thing? Here it is. Compared to an original iPhone, I see why the LG failed, because the iPhone is much better looking in every sense of the word. But really good collector's phone, really rare, extremely rare. And I got it for really cheap, which is quite hard to come by. Let's leave that over there. Let's go to the other LG phone here. LG Thrill 4G. I initially thought this was an Optimus 3D, but this is the Thrill 4G. It's basically the same phone, but it's for the US market. I can't fix this phone. I've tried many times, and then I eventually gave up and just made a video on this. It's water damaged beyond repair. A lot of the components started falling off, and like it's been sitting for a long time after water damage. It's one of those 3D stereoscopic phones with dual cameras from 2011 to 2013, 3D phone. Kind of sucks, but I can't do anything about it. Kind of overpaid for this as well. I'll get a real Optimus 3D the next time I go hunting for 3D phones. So let's leave that one to a side as well. Let's do Apple now. So this one, oh boy, this one was a fun one. First generation iPad, plugs in. When you plug it in, the Apple logo shows up, keeps boot looping. Tried for months to fix this thing. Couldn't fix it. Turns out the battery's probably screwed. It still completes the circuit, so meaning the battery hasn't exploded, but it's hence why the screen hasn't lifted or anything. But the battery's probably not holding a charge anymore, but it still completed the circuit, so that's why the Apple logo shows up. I might take its battery out someday and replace it, but for now, just going to leave it like this. It's in pristine condition. I don't want to take it out of its case right now, but it's in pristine condition for its age. It's a 10-year-old device. Another good part of my collection. Let me just leave this over somewhere. iPhone 2G. This one also got it for pretty cheap. Battery was shot. It had actually leaked, but luckily it hadn't leaked onto the iPhone, the motherboard. Took the old battery out, rigged up a weird separate battery with this very battery here. I rigged something up, and then it turned on with the rigged battery, and turns out it perfectly works. Kind of bent the frame, but the only way to take apart an original iPhone, you do have to bend the aluminum frame there. Pretty decent phone, good part of my collection. The screen is relatively scratch free for such an old phone. The back is also in decent condition. It works, so it's got no battery. As you can see, it's hollow, but I could turn it on whenever I want. Let's leave that to a side, and let's do this. So this was an iPod Nano 2nd gen that I got in a part slot with another iPod. Where is that thing? It was an iPod Nano 6th gen. The touchscreen, the Nano 2nd gen and the Nano 6. Oh, I'm an idiot. Here it is. So these two were in the same lot. This one wasn't working. Wait. Hold up. I'm getting mixed up. This is not the one. This is the one. This Nano 6th gen and this Nano 2nd gen. They were in the same lot. This one turned on, but the screen was screwed up. This one didn't turn on at all. Couldn't find the issue. It's probably the battery, but I don't have a replacement battery. They're really hard to find, so this is on hold. I will do a video on restoring this thing in the future, but for now it's on hold. These were in a part slot. This Nano 2nd gen, I'm trying to get it to work. It worked initially, but when I soldered on the brand new battery, it stopped working. So I got to try and find how to fix it. I'll do that probably in another time, but for now, I'll just leave this over here. This one will also be for another time. I also have another iPod Nano. It's an iPod Nano 3rd gen, one of the square ones. I'm doing a project on it. I'm trying to give it a new paint job and modify it. I've been buying parts for it. I'm buying like other iPod Nano 6th gens and using them for parts to fix that other one, but I still haven't come to doing that because I couldn't get a proper replacement display. These two are examples of iPod Nano 6th gens, well, iPod Nano 3rd gens that I took apart and didn't finish because I didn't have the time, and they both, though I bought them, they were working as described, but the displays were shot, so I couldn't technically return them, so they're just sitting in their bags. They'll probably end up as parts. This one's a really nice product red one as well, so I might do something with it in the future. In the meantime, the other one's just a basic silver one. Two iPod Nanos 3rd gens. So leave that over there. It's getting dark slowly, so I better do this pretty fast. iPod Nano 3rd gen, bought it with this iPhone and this HTC in a part slot, these three. The iPhone and the HTC are completely shot. The HTC works, but its display won't work, it's smashed. The iPhone is water damaged. I'll get into that in a bit. This one works perfectly fine. It was listed as broken, but its battery holds the charge well. Works perfectly fine. Has an engraving at the back. Life is loving and laughing. Works perfectly fine. Kind of dead on battery right now. Nothing wrong with it. So iPod Nano 6th gen, the original Apple Watch, the Apple Watch iPod as they called it. Just like the other one, but this one works actually. The other one needs fixing. iPhone 3G. How do I know? It's the dull colors. The 3GS had shiny. The iPhone logo was shiny on the 3GS like the Apple logo, but on the 3G it's dull. Water damage. Tried to fix it multiple times. Didn't work. That water damage beyond repair again. Nothing much to see here. Basic iPhone 3G. Let's leave that to a side as well. I'm running out of space on my table over there. Let's do Sharp now. The Sharp Aqueous Crystal. Did a couple of videos on this. This phone has a Android com.android has stopped working error. On this phone, there's no way to fix it. If you have not turned on DevTools like the original owner hasn't, there's no way it'll ever detect by the computer. The BIOS on this phone is terrible. All you could do with the BIOS is just erase content and settings. There's nothing else you can do with it. You can't even wipe the cache. So this phone is basically useless. It turns on, but that Android error keeps popping up and there's no way to use the screen. You've seen this in a couple of videos. I've done a couple of videos on it. One of the first phones with, well, probably the world's first almost truly bezel-less smartphone. It did have an ugly chin, but if you try to ignore the chin, That looks really impressive. I think this phone was from 2014. Yeah, 2014, back when bezel-less was just a concept. But Sharp came out of nowhere into the US market and released this phone. It didn't sell well, and Sharp just left and never came back. Pretty hard to find as well in working condition. Really like this phone, good part of my collection. Let's leave that to a side as well. What do we have next? Let's do a Microsoft phone. Microsoft Lumia 650. I'm gonna do a video on this pretty soon. I hope I have the skills to get rid of, well, not the skills, the patience. I hope I have the patience to get this thing working again, because it is slight. There's a water damage indicator. Ignore that, it's not water damaged. I've checked. This thing, it's passcode locked, but there's a way to get into it. But getting into it is a really long process. Well, it's technically not passcode. It's Google. It's Microsoft account lock, basically. So Microsoft account lock. Getting into it is a really long process. So I hope I have the patience to when I do try it. But Nokia Lumia 650. It does have a back cover. It's not with me right now. It's just over there. I just can't get it right now. But it didn't come with a battery. But luckily the 950's battery works. But it sticks out a bit. I'll do a video on this 640 really soon. This is not the 640 XL, by the way. This is the 640, the standard edition. Let's leave that to a side. Let's go to HTC. HTC Hero 100 is, am I saying that right? I think it's HTC, yeah, HTC Hero something. One of the first Android phones, the first ever HTC phone to use HTC Sense UI. The first ever HTC phone to use the Sense UI, meaning the HTC Sense over Android skin. This phone probably works, but I don't have a battery for it. I can't find a battery for it, and I probably won't ever. Probably works, doesn't seem to be damaged in any form. Looks really nice. It has that ear mouthpiece-like thing. Pretty nice phone. Pretty rare, well, extremely rare. I haven't seen many of these things at all. So it's got a trackball as well. Pretty nice phone. Let's leave it to a side. HTC Dream or T-Mobile G1, the world's first Android phone. I have another one of this, like I've showed you before in my previous tech recap video. But this one isn't in that great condition. The screen's a bit wobbly. It works, but it works on and off. I did a video on this. You can go check it out. It's very similar to the Hero 100. It has a trackball and stuff. Got a full size, well, yeah, it's got a QWERTY keyboard, but it works intermittently, not all the time. Like, there's something wrong with it, but I managed to get it working even at times, because it wouldn't turn on at all back then when I got it. So HTC Dream, T-Mobile G1, the world's first Android phone. HTC Desire 510, nothing much to say. It's got a nice sticker at the back, mentally twisted. Cricket wireless phone, bought it with that part slot like I mentioned earlier. Screen is completely destroyed. Phone turns on. It doesn't have a password, as I can see, because when the phone turns on, I can see vaguely when I push up like this, it goes into the home screen without a password. So I might replace the display on this someday, but this is a budget phone. It's not really worth it, but if I get the screen and the LCD, the digitized assembly for cheap, I might end up replacing it. Well, that's a phone for another time. Let's go to the last two. We have Motorola here. Motorola E5 Plus, one of my daily phones. I use this with my iPhone 11, which I'm using to record this video. As you can see there, that's my iPhone 11. Ignore the weird hairstyle. My hair is a mess. So I use this alongside my iPhone 11. It's locked onto Metro PCS, but I use it off Korea. I just use it as on Wi-Fi. I call people with it, play games, Android games. You play Pokemon Go. This is my go-to secondary phone. I use it to talk to my girlfriend at night as well, when this phone is on charge. So really helpful phone. Got it for like $10 and repaired it for like $15. So really helpful phone. It's got Android 8.1, so really up to date. It's got a fingerprint scanner. Crappy camera, but I feel like the camera was damaged when this phone when I got it, because where's that original screen? Hold up. I'm not gonna touch its original screen because there's glass everywhere, but its screen was cracked and I got it for like $9.99 or $10. Repaired it and it didn't have a password, works fine. When it dropped, it probably damaged the camera because the camera quality isn't as good as what I've seen on the reviews, but I don't really use the camera anyway. Got a front flash as well. It's one of those phones. Big 6-inch screen, really good phone. I use it every day. I did a couple of videos on it, a repair video as well, which is pretty nice. You should go check that out. You can go find that in my video selection. And finally, a phone that I recently got, a really interesting phone, the Motorola MB600 or Motorola Backflip. The world's only phone that flips backwards, because usually phones flip that way. This thing flips backwards like that, and its keyboard and camera are together and they're at the back. This phone also has a trackpad. Sorry about that, I ran out of space on my phone, so I deleted some stuff. What I was gonna say is that this phone also has a trackpad, as you can see here, to be used like this when you're typing. You can use it with your 2 fingers and typing with your thumbs. Really interesting phone, always wanted to own one. Somewhat rare. There's nothing much else to it. I really like that phone. And I guess this is the end of this video. That's my recap of the devices that I bought from March 2020 to July 2020. Stay tuned for more as usual, and I'll do another video like this in about 3 to 4 months. I'll try to keep it within 3 to 4 months so that there isn't a pile of phones on this table right here. I really should get a bigger table. But anyway, I need a bigger table. So I'll do another video when I have newer devices that you'll see over time on the channel. So maybe around, maybe around October-ish? I don't know what, it's August, September, October. Yeah, maybe in October or November, whenever I have sufficient amount of devices to show you. All right, so then stay tuned till the next video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button and check out my channel. And if you like what you see, please consider hitting that subscribe button, thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in my next video.